Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Sparks, Entertainment and Art. And as people know, we talk about so many aspects of the band Sparks, and we talk about all those different dimensions with so many different people. Sometimes people who are in the band, and sometimes people like me who are just fans and just love to talk about Sparks. And today we are going to talk to Martine Mimenna, who is joining us from the Netherlands. And she and I discovered that we had common ground in that we both think the album Little Beethoven was not just a wonderful Sparks album, but something that was pretty essential to how their career was defined over many, many years, and really since the album. And Martine and I just started to discuss this, and I said, just come on the show. Come on the show. So, Martine, welcome to the show.
Hello, Monty. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited.
Well, absolutely. How's the weather there?
Well, pretty bleak. It's raining and very cold, but no, doesn't matter.
Sounds like it's pretty similar to the weather here. And I want to,
Okay.
yeah, it's been bleak and wet. But I wanted to thank you so much for joining me on the show to talk about an album that I have always thought was great from the beginning. And over the years, I came to appreciate its importance. But I
Yeah.
know that you have a similar perspective and you have a lot of thoughts about this. So I'm glad we'll have a chance to talk about it. But before we do, I just wondered, how did you get into Sparks? How did you discover them?
Well, it isn't that much of a fairy tale story, but it was around November in 2024 when I was on YouTube. You know, it was a cold winter's day, and I wanted to discover music which wasn't that mainstream. And well, all of a sudden, I found a video of was it the Midnight Express? I don't
Midnight
know if
Special.
that's the correct
Yes.
show. And there was Sparks with this town ain't big enough for the both of us, obviously. And I found the music intriguing, but also the words. You know, not the mainstream. He has some hooks and some exciting take on music writing. So I thought I wanted to know more, and I also found Paul Barrett's show, Metasparks, and that what's got me into getting behind the meaning of the lyrics more. So shout out to Paul. So
Yeah. Well, it is a great story in two ways. One is that most people came either when I did way back in the 70s, or they discovered them as a dance band in the late 70s, or they were big fans of the 80s, or they came in
yeah,
with the movie, the
yeah,
documentary. But
yeah.
you came in just a couple years ago, which I think is
I,
great.
I haven't I haven't even heard of the documentary back then. I heard about it later on. So I thought, well, that's another reason to get hooked on Spark. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
And the other aspect of your story that is so great is that I'm pretty sure it was Midnight Special from 1974 where I first discovered them too. So everything comes around and is a big circle.
it's so
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
So you became a fan, you started to listen to their music,
Mhm.
and the Little Beethoven album, it clicked with you, or how did it impact you when you heard Little Beethoven?
Little Beethoven was just when I bought it, I thought, well, this could be the authorization to the music that Sparks wanted to make. You know, the turning point. I mean, previously, like Paul Barrett said, they got hooked on several music genres like glam rock and electronic music, which they before Little Beethoven, they got hooked on several music genres, and now on Little Beethoven, they finally get to make the music they really, in their heart, wanted to make.
So you're saying that they got to make the music that they wanted to make, but how,
Yeah.
how would you characterize that?
Well, in heart, they at heart they are storytellers. They love cinema. They love to create a little movie through their songs. And yeah, I think maybe before Little Beethoven they already did, but it wasn't their own music. You know, that it's always glam rock or disco or something else. And now they really wanted telling their story through their own music, which is very cinematic, very well. It's like watching a different movie every time. For and it started um, at Little Beethoven, I think.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. With Little Beethoven, they kind of decided this. They had been leading up to it for the two or three albums before that,
Hmm.
becoming more
Yeah.
electronic, becoming more
Hmm.
self-reliant,
Yep.
and they were able, just like you said, they were able to make the music that they really wanted to make without an outside producer, without, in complete control of the sound and how it came across. And the big difference to me is that up to then, they were looking to be a pop band. They were looking to fit in,
Hmm.
sell records,
Yeah.
compete on the charts. But with Little Beethoven, it seemed like they said, "We're done with that. We just want to make the music that we want to make," and it worked out well for them.
If they don't they aren't true to their art in them to their music, then a position on the charts will mean nothing to them. I think. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. They wanted to set a name to make themselves known. I think is
That's
that
a
what
great,
you tried to say? Yeah, yeah. That's what I can relate to. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it does seem like there was a change. And do you think that that change was the template for their music all the way up to today, or do you think there have been some variations?
I think it is a template, and I think it is a a sort of grid or ground, music ground uh, 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 that they tweaked a little bit after Little Beethoven. Um, but yeah, I think that it can be seen as a template. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And do you think that the FFS experience was a point where they made some kind of change, still keeping within the parameters, still keeping within what they did with Little Beethoven?
I think they choose Fred Ferdinand because Fred Ferdinand is also a band that they hold dear to their heart or really appreciate. And FFS is, I think, it's they making music the way Ronald Russell wanted to make. I think it's if you look at it from this point of view, yeah, I can agree. Yeah.
Well, their albums became a little bit more poppy, after that. It seemed
Hmm.
it seemed to me, you may not agree, but
Poppy. Yeah, yeah. I think yeah. Then I
or
agree.
maybe a
Yeah.
better word is accessible.
More accessible to bigger crowds. Yeah, that's why they have a more larger following than they have before. Yeah, then I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like the new records? Do you like the Matter EP?
Um. Well, I love Mad.
Me too.
Matter. It's yeah. Um I think Mad is more accessible than Matter because we have um I don't know. It's not porcupine, but mess up.
Yeah.
Is that? I played it to my friends, and they were like, "Hmm, I like Sparks, but this is a bit strange." And I didn't find it strange, but they were like, "Hmm, I don't know."
I think that's a good thing. I think they're probably evolving just a little bit right now. But
Yeah, I think that's what I mean by tweaking a little bit. That they stay true to their main core, but also wanted to reach out to um, large audiences and to try to get them into their music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you heard Little Beethoven for the first time, as you're going through
Uh-huh.
this kind of rush job, you're listening to all this Sparks very quickly. Did you hear a song or two and say, that's something I want to follow up on, or did you hear the whole album?
I'm much more of an album uh, type of listener because I think that's the way Sparks is like as a band.
I agree. I agree.
But some uh, uh, songs I really like in particular, like the Thief, Rhythm Cowboy, and Ugly Guys with Beautiful Girls. Those are the three songs that comes to my mind. So
So what were your thoughts when you first heard the Rhythm Thief, which kicks off the album?
I was really surprised that well they in a interview some interview I don't know which one they said that they were pretty kind of fans of Laurie Anderson's music, and Laurie Anderson's made Superman, and I clearly with the first few minutes I thought they listen to Superman a lot, the I don't know the first sound of the wooden teeth. I thought, well, this is what they see as yeah good music. I think the music that they want to express themselves in.
What were your first thoughts about the album itself as you listened to it and you heard it and you heard how different it was from the stuff they had been doing before that with balls and everything?
Uh,
What were your thoughts?
my first word that came into mind was refreshing. I thought I knew that they well into cinema, and I thought this has got a really cinematic feel to it.
Mhm. When you listen to it now with hindsight a little bit, What do you think about
Uh-huh.
how does it impact you when you hear it now?
Well, I think it makes more sense than I listened to it at the first time. In hindsight, Lil Beethoven is, I think it's a template for certainly for other albums to come, but certainly for Mad for the latest album because well they at in the with Matt they certainly show that well this is Sparks and we don't with this is our music, take it or leave it. We do things our own way. So
That certainly was a message on Mad.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that Kakadu that cantate that's when I listen to it more and more, it's like, yeah, it's resonated me more because um, it's clearly a message that they want to send out to well the people. Uh, we wanted to make it this way and not want to listen to record producers or anything or other people. It's our music and take it or leave it.
Yeah. And I think they've had an amazing career since that record, and especially in the last few years. Here in the
Yeah,
States, they're playing bigger venues than they did just 10 years ago. And
yeah, and I think the albums who came after Little Beethoven, like Exotic Creatures and Annette, and well, they all say like, okay, we're ready with Annette, so maybe start.
mhm.
Uh, it's a question to the world. We're ready to make our own music known. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think that, in terms of those two albums that you mentioned, they're the story that's continuous throughout the whole thing. In my
yeah,
opinion, Exotic Creatures as well as Annette. There's a
yeah. With exotic
Re-
creatures, it's an interesting thing that I think it mentioned. It also mentioned on your previous show with Penny that with a strange animal, there's like a tug of war in one's head. You know, they
yes.
well, little Beethoven, they set a template, as you say. And with Strange Animal, Exotic Creature from Detail, like, okay, but how can we refine it? What's the direction now? Where do we go from here? And
Yeah.
clearly, at the start of Exotic Creatures from Deep, one is like, I don't know. You know, it's a tug of war in inside his head.
Yeah, it's so interesting what you're saying. I always thought of that tug of war as kind of about their whole career, entertainment or art, one should know from the start. But you're really raising a wonderful point, which is that well, they did the little Beethoven, they've set the template. Where are they going to go with it?
Mm-hmm. That's true, and now it's up to them to, to play with it, to yeah, to make it their own.
Well, that is a great thought. And I know that on some of the songs you feel that they're trying to send a message. We just talked about that a little bit. One
Yeah,
that you had mentioned to me earlier was uh, "My Baby's Taking Me Home." Yeah, I'm wondering if you
yeah.
could talk about that or any of the other songs that you wish.
No, well, my baby is taking me home. It's like, and I can relate to Paul when he said Sparks is there. creative process, and it's finally hit home. It finally, they finally grounded themselves. They cemented their own music path, and they don't really have to relate on any kind of music genre. They can obviously, um, pick some bits and pieces from music genres, but they don't have to. They're creating their own Sparks world, like whatever that may be. But
But
and
I
I
didn't
think
mean. Please go ahead.
it's more to do with, well, the cinematic kind of storytelling, and the cinematic the cinematic feel that they wanted to portray. Like,
Yeah, and that song in particular, "My Baby's Taking Me Home." What are they saying when they say "My baby's taking me home"?
they don't have any responsibility to anyone but themselves. They can create from now on. They can create whatever they wanted to create.
Now you have some notes, and I'm wondering, is there something else in there that you want to make sure you convey?
There is a sort of poem inside the booklet of Lil Beethoven.
Hmm.
It says nine scintillating works of seduction and self delusion by the diminutive master of the art of musical overkill. Lil Beethoven, entertainment in extremis. It's in the genes.
It's in the
I think
genes.
it's obviously Ron who wrote this about himself, because that's, yeah, because, yeah, in the genes, diminutive master. Yeah, well, that's the master. That's obviously him. So I think that's yeah, that's sums up the album, I think.
Well, let me just say thank you for joining me and talking
Yeah,
about
thank you.
what I think is one of the most important albums that they've ever made, and it sounds like you do
Yeah.
too. And it's been an
Mhm.
absolute pleasure. And I loved hearing your perspective on things.
Well, my pleasure, pleasure likewise, and it was um, it was it was a joy. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
very good. So thank you very much. And
Thank
to
you.
everyone who's listening and watching, we love having you. And I'm very grateful for this conversation, and I
Oh,
hope others enjoy it as well. And we will see you soon with a new episode of Sparks Entertainment and Art. Thank you. Good night.
bye.